Second.
You can hear me?
Yes, sir. Please start. Please start.
Okay. So my idea to Mr. Wala here, what I suggested was to form a committee for in case some such a event happens with our Tarangan 2, what happened in Sharmishta. And then he suggested that maybe we'll have some meeting that there's a lot of panic, lot of queries amongst the people. So let us, this is the first step where we start a meeting, try to troubleshoot as many queries as possible. And maybe then the next we go ahead and have the actual action plan. So this is a preliminary stage before we form something concrete. So let us start with the COVID pandemic. It is the coronavirus. It is a SARS-CoV-2 virus. It has some peculiarities. The peculiarities of this virus is it is around 10 times more contagious than the routine common cold or influenza virus. So that is why it spreads fast. Other problem is it's when the patient is infected, it can be infective 2 days before starting symptoms, up to 14 days of till he has the symptoms, start of the symptoms. So approximately 2 weeks. Generally, all viral infection gets cured in 4-5 days. The contagious nature, that infectivity stays for 14 days. So that is how it, and there are a lot of around 40 to 50% patients are asymptomatic. It will, the person will look very fine, hale and hearty, but he will be infected and can give you infection. That is how it is spreading, and that is why it is difficult to stop the spread. The good thing about it is 80% of them are mildly symptomatic or asymptomatic. 15% of them are moderately symptomatic. Only 5% needs actual ICU care, high flow oxygen, or maybe ventilator, with a mortality of 1 to 3%. So that look at the positive thing of it, the mortality is 1 to 3% only. In Thane, there is a lot of hue and cry about 100 patients every day, 100 positive. This is bound to happen with such a densely populated city. This is bound to happen in Thane and Mumbai. But so far, the mortality in Thane is about 1.5%. If you look at some patients died without being tested. At the most, it is 2%. So out of 1,700 plus cases in Thane, there is only at the most 2% mortality. So nobody is telling you that so many people are going back home without much treatment, and everybody focuses on how the people are not getting ambulances, how they are dying on the roads, and that is 3% of the scene. So these are the plus of the thing, but at the same time that 14%, 14 days of infectious nature, that is the minus of this virus. So we should take it positively, because the problem is for how many days we will have lockdown. I had talked about this 1 month back when we had a meeting about our dog walking and everything. Because how many days you will sit at home? Even at the moment, lot of people, maybe their businesses are affected some way, the businesses are down, they want to start their businesses. Lot of people want to go back to their work. Maybe there are some salary cuts, different things are happening, different lives are affected in different ways. So 31st May, maybe it will extend to 15 June, maybe it will extend to 30 June. Someday people will go out, partly, completely. People will go out with their drivers. It is very tough to, those who have drivers, it is very tough to go to Bombay, drive for 2 hours in that traffic and go to Mumbai. So you will be sitting with the driver with the AC, that is a close contact. That driver can be very healthy looking, but he can be a asymptomatic carrier. Someday maids will come home. Those maids will be in your house for at least 1 hour. They will go to 10 houses and then they will go back to their slum or wherever they stay. And they are the biggest threat. And then all type of people will come in the society, and all of us will go out for our work. So what? So you really think that 100% we can stop it to tell everybody was that we should be prepared that someday something will happen, and then what we do. That was the issue. That is how it started. because so far we are focusing on prevention and we have done an excellent job. But that was partly possible because it is all lockdown. It is an official lockdown and officially everybody is sitting at home for 2 months. But when people will go out in such a densely populated city of Thane and Mumbai, then what happens? This is how it started. So I think we will make it as a question answer session, and so that we will know what are the queries, and whatever queries I can solve, I will solve. Some queries, if I cannot answer, then I will take back these queries with me, talk to my friends, and maybe in 1 or 2 days I will get back to you on our Tarangan group. So that is the idea.
Okay, great. Thank you, Doctor. So, first I have received 5 questions on WhatsApp from Mr. Madhav Deshpande staying in Jesta. I just
Yeah.
ask them to you one by one. And after that, Mr. Pandurang Gadge and Mr. Rajendra have raised their hands. So, we'll just ask them to ask the questions. So, the first question is, we hear on TV that one must wash one's hands with soap frequently. But how much is frequently? 5 times or 10 times a day?
See, hand washing is the easiest and most effective way of preventing it. Okay, our common household soap is very effective. If we wash it with for 20 seconds or extend it and wash it for 30 seconds. How often means how often you have touched somewhere. How many times you touched anything, you wash your hands. That is the way. And another thing is, like, I have stopped for last 1.5 months. I have stopped wearing my watch. You stop wearing your watch, bangles, ring, and a lot of people are executives. They go with the suit and whatever, but preferably you should have a half sleeve so that if required, you can wash your hands up to the elbow. How often, like when I work, after I see every patient, I wash my hands. You feel you have come up from in the lift, you may have taken precautions, you may have used some pen or something to push that button, but you come home, you wash your hand. You have touched your door handle, you wash your hand. You get any vegetables, anything, you wash your hand every time. When you are in the house, that is okay, it's a protected atmosphere. But when you go out and when you, there is no how many times.
Okay.
Anything can be less.
Okay. So the second question from the same person is, one doctor recommended using coconut oil to rinse the mouth and putting some drops in the nostrils to avoid being infected. The logic being that the oil destroys the fatty layer of the virus. What is your opinion?
That is not practical. Theoretically, it may look correct, but how many times you will keep how much time you will keep a coconut oil in your mouth? That is not possible. No, that is not done.
Okay. Third is, it is obvious that open spaces are the safest. So would doctor suggest taking walks as long as people maintain a 2 meter distance from others and do not touch surfaces that could be infected?
That is safe. Open spaces are safe. In US, lot of people go to open spaces without wearing masks. So generally, more than 2 meters, the virus is a drop. They are a big droplets. So generally, the droplets fall on the ground. It doesn't remain in the air for a long time. So if you go in the garden, there is nobody around you. You can move around without a mask. It is safe.
Okay. But we urge people to wear a mask.
Yeah.
It is important for us to disinfect our door handles or dining table top, etc. Is it important for us to disinfect our door handles?
Door handles, yes. Door handles, yes.
Okay. And the last
Because we will
question.
be touching it every time you go out. Huh?
Okay. And the last question from Mr. Deshpande is, why are people insisting on wearing masks as soon as one steps out of the house, when the mask can be useful only when one gets closer to other people?
In a crowded city like us, you can encounter anybody any moment. And because if you look down, when I go with my dog down, half of our Tarangan staff is working with their mask below their nose. Okay, and a lot of them are also talking with each other. So I have pointed it out to a couple of committee members few times. But what they do is, when nobody is around, their mask is again below their nose. When they see me, they just put the mask on their nose. So you don't know. So when somebody will come and suddenly sneeze or cough on your face, so it is better to have a mask all the time when you go out. Better safe than sorry.
Okay, now we have Mr. Bala here asking a question. Sir, I'm just unmuting you. You can ask your question. Yeah, Mr. Bala.
Yeah, Dr. Samant, thank you very much for the inputs that you gave us on the subject. I have three questions. One is basically the symptoms of COVID-19. When do you go for a test of COVID-19? This is my first question. My second question is, they say that when you go out, basically come back home, keep your slippers out of the door, and immediately put your clothes to wash. How essential is this to be done?
Okay, the first question is, with COVID, it is so contagious that you have to have a very high index of suspicion. Maybe you are feeling little weak, maybe some sore throat. It may be a common cold, but you don't know. It can be COVID. With lot of unexpected patients we see in our CT scan center. Patient comes for abdominal pain, and during the abdominal scan, you take couple of chest shoots, and you find lesions in the chest, and that patient comes out to be positive. So any symptoms of viral infection, you have cold, sneezing, sore throat, malaise, weakness. Sometimes there are atypical symptoms like loss of smell and taste. But these can happen with any viral infection. But ultimately, you have to have a high index of, and then you have to remember: have you gone out? Do you think you have contacted a lot of people? If you are sitting at home and still you are getting this symptom, that maybe it is just a common cold which will go away in a couple of days. But it is better to call your doctor on the phone and talk to him, regular doctor. Sometimes fever may be there, but fever is a very frank symptom. But these mild symptoms you have to take into consideration today. And about the slippers, it is better you keep your slippers out of your house, because they go a lot of, and because that virus has a tendency to sit on the surfaces for some time, and it can be active for a long time. Clothes you may not wash every time. Clothes washing is essential only for healthcare workers who go out and work with the patient, either COVID patients or non-COVID patients, because even when you are working with non-COVID patients, there may be an asymptomatic carrier there. So clothes thing is only for medical workers, not for common man. Yeah. If you want to do it,
thank you, doctor.
Yeah, if you want to do it, if you want to wash clothes every time you come home, it is fine. It is okay. It's an extra precaution you are taking.
Okay. Thank you, doctor. So, second question, Mr. Rajendra, would you like to ask a question? You have raised your hand. Mr. Rajendra, I'm just unmuting you.
Do you mean Savle or it's Yogita here?
Yeah. Yeah. You have raised your hand. So would you like to ask?
Yeah. Yes, it is in connection with what Balkrishna here asked. When a person goes for a test, I heard that the first thing they do is they seal the building. Then the test reports are sent 2 days later, and then if it is positive, then the remaining procedure is taken, and if it is negative, then the seal is removed. Is it true?
No,
that
I don't.
First the area is sealed even before the test is done, or is it only after, if at all someone is positive, then the seal?
I'm not 100%. I don't think they seal the building before the test comes positive. At the most, they will tell the patient to stay at home, don't go anywhere, like an isolation till the test results are come out. They tell the patient to isolation, and right now they have changed their policy. They are not, from 22nd May. They are sealing only that floor, where the patient stays, where the positive patient is there. And rest of the building, at the most they may close for 24 or 48 hours for sanitization, and then they will open it. But they will not seal the building before test comes positive. No.
Okay, Savle ma'am, your question was right. Okay. The same incident happened at a couple of places. They first sealed the building, then after the test report came, if it is positive, the seal continued. If it is negative, the seal was opened. It happened at a couple of places in Thane. What you're saying?
Yeah, that is a lot of over enthusiasm showed by these police people. Yeah. They are doing haphazardly, they are doing whatever, because they have a power in their hand. They are doing a lot of things which are not warranted.
Mr. R. Malhotra. Sorry, ma'am. Please continue. Ma'am, please continue.
Yeah, my second question was, if at all we do want to get tested, whom to approach and how to go about it.
Ideally, there is a limit to testing. They have limited test kits. So generally now, I think the latest
If
guideline
there
is
are, if someone has symptoms and they want to go
you
ahead
have to go
for
through
the
a
testing.
doctor. I think the latest, according to the latest protocol, I think you have to be in an institute somewhere where the doctor from that institute will recommend, write that test. Then only it will be done.
Okay. Because
Yeah,
when we came back from abroad, we had tried to get ourselves tested just to be on the safer side, but no one responded. One of them just asked, "Aapko koi symptoms hai kya?" When we said no, they didn't respond to our request for test
because
at
there is a
all.
lot of limitation about the test kits. We are grossly under testing.
So
It is
as
not
such,
possible.
voluntarily, even now we cannot test.
No. Because
Okay.
then a lot of people will go for testing, and those who really need the test, they will not get the test. Because in the lab, even the lab has a limitation of doing some 100 or 120 tests they can do in a day. So if they start doing haphazardly anybody's test, then they will not do the test of real patient. They will be
Okay.
limited in their capacity.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. That's it.
Mr. R. Malhotra, I am just unmuting you. You can ask your question.
Yeah, hi. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, doctor, I have a query. Someone told me that if you use the saturation meter, the thumb saturation meter, which says the oxygen level, if you check it daily, then you will actually come to know, because that's the first thing that gets impacted. Your saturation level get lower down. So is it a good option to check it daily?
It is like this. The COVID is, there are some specific peculiar features. Is when generally the oxygen saturation is around 98%, around that level. But even it goes down to 85, 80 in COVID, patient is relatively comfortable. He doesn't feel that hypoxia, and such patients suddenly collapse when their saturation goes to maybe below 80, 75. They suddenly collapse. So it can be a screening test for people who are going to have that episode where they are going to go for a severe disease and hypoxia. For routine patients, this will always your saturation will always be normal, and you can still be positive, because in 85% patients this will not be applicable. But it is a good test. I mean, if you have it at home, you can try it every day. On all positive patients, they do it just to screen them that they are not desaturating.
At least
But
if we have the
it
saturation
will
level
not
below 90, then
override it.
we can probably go for a test if it goes below 90.
Yeah, I mean, if 90, even if it starts falling, generally it has to be at around 97, 98 normal. Even 92, 90 is alarming, because it should not fall how high it should fall. So if it starts falling, you can always approach somebody.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll take Mr. Manoj Ganjawala.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. So my question, more than a question, it is more like getting ready for any eventualities. I completely agree with Dr. Samant that with the opening up sooner than later, we will have cases in Tarangan. I have another flat in another location which is already sealed by BMC, and they have a good process of carrying out various things. Now there are 4 areas which I think I'm drawing everybody's attention. Number one is tracking COVID centers and quarantine centers with vacancy, because otherwise we don't know where to go in case something happens. For example, so do we need to know which are the vacant quarantine centers or COVID centers and one approaches? Others, we don't want to go from pillar to post and getting turned down. That's number one. Number two, we need to also find out that in case somebody is contained or quarantined, then that particular family needs to have some kind of an assistance of meeting the daily needs of groceries, etc. So, we need a process for our colony, for our society, where we define what is the process of quarantine, what does a building do, what does that entire floor do, and if in case a particular family is quarantined, let's say first floor of Sarmishta is quarantined, then there is a set of other family members who provide them groceries, etc. So, you know, forming a committee out there would help a lot to help. And last point is in terms of external vendor interaction. You already have a good screening process. Maybe that needs to be tightened, or what is the third point? So these are some of my thoughts. If somebody wants to share on that, it will help.
These are the most critical points why I started the whole process. These are the points why I started the whole process, because it's not a stigma. COVID is looked at as a stigma. It is just a plain flu infection which anybody can get. But people look at COVID patient as if he has committed some crime. And there is almost, it's a it is almost boycotted. He's boycotted from the society. So that is why I started the whole thing, because there is such a shortage of beds in TMC. Now your first point, like I have friends in senior medical officer in TMC, so I can tell you where the beds are available at any given time. So that was my idea of forming a committee which will help people when the situation comes. So right now also I can tell you where beds are available, which bed is available where, or if something is not available, we use our contact to do something for the resident. That is first point. Secondly, nowadays, this idea of home quarantine, I wanted to push with everybody, because people will be shocked to look at a home quarantine. But all governments are giving this option because they are running short of beds. So when the patient is very mildly symptomatic or asymptomatic, they offer them, if they have a good house where he can have a separate room, separate toilet, then they offer him a home quarantine facility. Their criteria is they should have a 24 hours caregiver with the patient. Caregiver can be anybody, his wife, anybody can be caregiver. They have gone to the extent, even if wife is both are positive, still they are allowing that you take care of each other, because they are so short of bed. So such a person stays at home 24 hours. They are in contact with the medical facility. They have to monitor their own things. If the pulse and everything is okay, I am getting fever, if sometimes symptoms are increasing, and he has to stay in that home quarantine for 17 days, where there is a 10-day fever-free period, and he can sit at home, get himself treated, and come out. And even if there is no home quarantine, that patient gets admitted somewhere and his family is quarantined, then society has to provide them with daily supplements and everything. They have to put everything at their doorstep. They will open the door, they will take it, and they will survive for 14 days. So that is what is the concept. That is how a cooperative society should cooperate in times of crisis. If you feel that, array, that second floor person is positive, that is okay. Anybody can be positive. It's a flu. It's a plain simple flu. That word COVID is very alarming. It's a flu. It's a simple flu. And 80% will recover without doing anything. If you don't do anything, still you will recover.
There are centers also.
Okay.
So this is a very important. That is how it started. That is how I initiated the thing for these things. Hotels are giving hotels also, but all are full.
Would you recommend a prophylactic like HCQ?
Manoj,
Sorry.
just just a notification. This meeting will end in 5 minutes. You can join again with the same password and same meeting number.
Okay.
So if you get disconnected, please join again.
Yeah, thank you. HCQ, yeah.
HCQ is only for medical social workers who come in contact with the patient, or who are treating COVID or non-COVID, whether they are who are in the field of healthcare. It is because it has got complications, it has got side effects. You have to take a baseline ECG, some blood test before starting HCQ, and you have to monitor. It has to be taken only under medical supervision. So HCQ is not for common man. They give it probably for mild symptoms, but that is under medical supervision. We should not take a HCQ. I think Mr. Govinda, you only had put something 1 month back or something about recommendation. Somebody has put about HCQ recommendation. Your uncle or somebody has recommended HCQ. I don't know. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it is not to be done without medical support. No, HCQ is no.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Sanjay Bhatkande. Mr. Bhatkande, would you like to ask?
Yes. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Govind. So, doctor, just as once the lockdown probably gets over, or probably overall activities startups in a moderate way, some of the things that we get serviced outside our colonies or maybe externally, something like car washing, you have car repairs, you have many things like laundry, ironing. There are many vendors which come in and deliver your services. How do we ensure that the things that we get back from these service vendors are fully they're not carrying any infection back to us?
It's a very complex problem. That is what I'm saying. It's a very complex problem. It will need a too much brainstorming and troubleshooting to form some policy for the society. I don't know. Like iron person can put everything down and go, or I don't know how, because these are the things which will bring the infection in. Car washing, my thinking is we should reduce car washing from inside. Just let them wash from outside and go. Because when he will open your car, he will touch everywhere inside. When he washes from outside, it's okay. You can just get into your car and go. So I feel to start with, we should not insist on car washing from inside. That one problem we can take care of, but other things are tough. These all biggest problem will be maids. When maids will come, I was talking to my friend. What she was saying is, when the maid will come, preferably look at what she was telling me, recommending me. Preferably a household should have only one maid. Think about 3 maids you have going to 10 different locations. So you have 10 into 3, 30 contacts. And she's going, 3 people are going to 10 more people and coming to you every day. So what she was recommending, everybody should have a one maid. You will come for 3-4 hours. When she comes to your doorstep, you have to change her mask and keep it in her bag outside. Later wash your hands and feet. Give her a new mask, gloves, a cap for covering her hair, and then she will take care of your house. And again, she will go back. This is the most complex issue.
Sorry, I'm just coming in. I'm just ending the meeting.
Thank you,
Please join again. The meeting will interrupt. Members, please join again. Same ID password. Members, please join again.